I flipped this one over, and I think nightmares is starting to grow on me right here. Welcome back to Gordon's Garage. In this episode, we're getting back on the Honda Shadow Ace, and we got to get something done. I've been dragging my feet way too long. And in order to get busy and be able to get productive on this thing, that's right, I broke out the dry erase board. Okay, this is going to help me out. This is going to give me a list of items to try to tackle, and it gets me goal oriented. I really like this. All right, Honda Shadow Ace. First item on this list is paint. Got to wash all the items. I think there's like 6 or 7 items, side covers and tank and stuff. We got to wash them, sand them, primer, paint them, and then buff them out. That's a lot of work. Each item I do, I can cross out. That's why I put it up there like that. The next thing is to finish cleaning this bike. I got a lot more chrome to polish. I got things to take off and kind of push around with the bolts are rusty. I got to take care of that somehow. So cleaning, we really want to focus on the chain, the wheels and the spokes. That's really time-consuming stuff, and the rest of the chrome, like I was saying. Next is the seats. I got to reupholster the seats. That includes uncover them. I have to take the vinyl off somehow, figure that out. Then I got to make a pattern out of those pieces, and then we're going to sew them together with some new vinyl and recover the seats. The last is the exhaust. This is going to be the easiest item. That item is going to be just basically removing the exhaust. I'm going to do some exploratory cutting and try to gut out that thing, make it where it can be louder. I like it. I know it can be a deeper rumble. It's just a real high-pitched, poppy exhaust like a moped. I really don't like that. It's a 750cc. It should be louder than that. And of course, last is to reinstall it. So I got a list to tackle and to get onto it. But first of all, I do have some mail call. Let's do mail call. Y'all ready for mail call? Let me pull out my little knife here. First item, I did pretty good. I ordered a few parts I knew I was going to need. This air cleaner. All right, I pulled the air cleaner out of this bike. I didn't get that on camera, but there were tons of leaves and stuff on the inside of this. Freaked me out a little bit. Turns out the air comes in here, then out and into the engine. So this is the engine side. This is the, yeah, whew, I thought I got a bunch of stuff in the engine. So what's the next thing here? Next item in mail call is a package inside a package. You know I love that. All right, how do I open this? What are in the box? What's in the box? Okay, this looks like grips. I definitely needed to replace the grips. They were really bad. That's going to do a lot better. Oh yeah. Okay, so I've got grips. I hope these aren't 7/8 and they're 1 inch like these are. Man, I hope this works. Okay, so let's get to work. Okay, off with the old and on with the new. The other thing I did was I went ahead and got myself some more Allens. This should fit on there, right? Yeah, perfect. Okay, so all the Allen bolts that were holding this chrome air cleaner on, they were all rusted, and I was trying to clean these things, and it's really hard to get the rust off that. So I stopped by the hardware store. I picked up some more, but I couldn't get enough Allens that are the same head. They did have some that were in a Phillips head, so I think that might work, but the head's a lot larger on the bolt. So let's just see if this will fit in this space. It looks like it. Yeah, it'll fit in there just nice. Yeah, I was afraid the head was going to be too big. It kind of disappears real nice. It looks like that'll work. It's all in, all done. So let's move to the next item. What am I going to do next? That's right, I made a list. Let me look at the list. Let's uncover the seats. Let's take those down. Let's take them all apart, and let's get the vinyl off the seats. Okay, let's start with this easiest part first. Let's see what happens here. I've got a couple of screws here. Let's see how easy this is to take off. So I'm starting with the easiest part first. That's how you do all these things, because then when you get to the next part, it seems harder and you just want to give up. Wow, that's weird. It's all bent over, like it's not made for this, or who knows. Okay, so I have a zipper here. Can I get to that zipper? I did not expect this. I was for sure that there was some kind of staples or something, usually in upholstery work. Let's see what's going on. Yeah, there's a backing and a foam, and zipper can't go because there's stuff in the zipper. Go, baby, go. All right, so this is gonna actually be a lot of work. This one little piece I thought was gonna be real simple, but turns out it's got a zipper on it. That means I've got to install a zipper when I sew this stuff back together. This might be really hard. I've never put a zipper in before. I don't know if I can do this. Nevertheless, somehow I gotta invert this thing and get the little metal backing and this foam out of this sleeve. Yeah, there's part of me just wants to cut it off, but I kind of want to preserve it a bit. Man, this is really thick vinyl too. Yeah, how to do this? How do you? Sometimes it just takes a lot of force. So yeah. Here it goes, here it goes. Okay, so there's a foam, a little bit of foam on the back, and that is a piece of metal because we have rust. Okay, that is that piece. We'll set that to the side, a little bit more out of our way. And so what I have to do is basically invert this piece. And it's not easy task, especially whenever the vinyl has been out in the sun and it's really hard. Sometimes it's really hard to do, but I'm gonna do my best here, see if I can get it to invert a bit and not hurt myself. Yeah, let's cut to the end where I got it all done. That'd be best. Ta-da! Okay, so they have a maybe 1/8 inch or 1/4 inch thick foam sewed onto this to give it extra padding, because this is the back where the holes are for the bolts, and this was laying on top of the gray foam. So what I want to do now is I'm going to take me a razor knife blade, and I've got to go through this seam and just reap out the stitches and make it to where as if it hadn't been sewn together yet. And that is going to be my pattern. So let me go ahead and get this top piece cut off and I'll show you. So I'm halfway around, and I thought I might show you what I'm actually doing is I'm just pulling this part back, and with this part of my hand, I'm holding this piece down and using the knife just to cut at the thread so that it would give away this piece that I want. Okay, so I have this cut off, and so it was sitting on here like so, and I've cut all the threads all the way around, and across the bottom here, this isn't vinyl, this is actually part of the zipper. If you can see that, it's just a cloth material that comes with the zipper. So they had this literally sewn to that. That makes it really difficult. I can see on this side of the zipper that there's a piece of vinyl about that thick going across there. So as I cut away this next piece, so we're going to have basically 4 pieces. This backing, the front piece, and the trim around the sides. And you can see here how it was sewn together. So yeah, I'm thinking I'm not going to do a zipper. I think I'm going to cheat. I'm going to do this in a way where I don't need a zipper. I'm going to make this better, easier for me. Instead of a zipper, I'm going to have an extra piece here, and it's going to flap underneath, and this is going to get laid on top of it anyways. It's just going to tuck, and it's going to be one big deal. All right, it's just going to be a pocket. So now I just got to cut this seam all the way around. Going to make good material to make a pattern out of just for that, and that's how much work I got to do for this. Now let's move on to the next seat. This one, oh my gosh, this might be hard. I flipped this one over, and I think nightmares is starting to grow on me right here. So when you go to see how the seat's put together, these are all rivets. So I'm gonna have to take a drill bit, and I'm gonna have to drill out each one of these rivets to get this seat cover off. Now to get the seat cover off, the padding is this wide, the hole is this wide. Oh, I'm gonna be wrestling this sucker. Or I can cheat. I'm gonna go ahead and drill out these rivets, and then I'm gonna turn around and I'm just gonna go ahead and cut it along this seam to make it much easier to come apart. Once I get brand new vinyl in here, the vinyl's gonna be more malleable. I can stretch it and pull it and tug it, and this stuff is kind of hard and brittle, and it doesn't give. And you can see, man, that's gonna be a chore. So if I just gently cut in all the way around this, I can take this bottom piece off and then take the top off from this back side first. So let me get the drill out and get drilling. As you can tell, I made quite a bit of a mess. I'm gonna sweep this up here just so kind of keep things tidy. The only thing I don't like about these plastic tables is the fact that they're staticky, and it kind of hangs on to the dusty stuff. Now, as I was cutting this, you might have been able to see that I kind of hacked this up a little bit. It's just very superficial, not really deep into the padding. This top layer about that thick is kind of soft foam. Then underneath that's more coarse or dense foam. This is not going to be a problem. You sit on the seat, you're not going to be able to feel this through the vinyl anyways. We're going to spray some adhesive on this before we put the vinyl back on. or spray the back of the vinyl and set it on there. That's what's keeping this in. Sometimes these things have another piece of cloth, triangle piece here, that goes into a slot and ties on the back side to help pull that down in there. This one did not have that, so maybe they didn't think it was necessary. If I cut this piece, these two separate, and sew them together right, it'll hold its form with the adhesive. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna separate the sides of this, and I'm probably gonna eliminate some of this extra fancy stuff. There's a lot of stitching going on here. I think we just need 4 pieces. Let's cut it apart and see what happens. So this is the passenger seat, and what I'm trying to figure out is where to carve what piece is separate to what piece. Some of these don't need to be cut, like this seam right here. I don't need that seam. I need this one for sure. It looks like this piece right here is a very important piece. I've got to get the shape of that one right. So I've gotten lazy, and I'm just going through and I'm cutting right beside one of these, and I'm just going to add my 3/8 to both sides of that. And I will cut that out like so, all the way around. And I'm looking at this front piece here. There's a seam right here. I think once I cut here and there, this piece can lay out flat. So that doesn't have to have a seam there from what I understand. But if I have any doubts, what I'll do is I'll cut this. And then once I get it cut out, I'll lay it down flat on this table. And if it doesn't lay flat and it's obviously wants to buckle, I will go ahead and make that 2 separate pieces. But all I have to do is run right up beside this seam. I can already tell it's gonna lay flat. So yeah, that's a flat piece. Now, pieces like this little bubble here, that is warped. That is from heat and being stretched and laid out in the sun and been pushed like that for so long that's warped. So those are normal. This is flat. This is all flat. So yeah, this is going to be one piece. This is going to be a second piece, and the third piece is the outside edge, and the fourth piece is the bottom piece on the passenger seat anyways. So yeah, let me get to chopping this up. All right, everybody. So I got to working on these hand grips, and man, they are not easy. The original hand grip, I've taken the plastic off the rubber and the little chrome pieces, and this end here where the cables tie in for the carburetor, it's a little smaller on this than it is on this new one. And so I'm trying to modify this housing with a Dremel tool if I can. And yeah, so I've got it almost there. My only problem is the handle keeps sticking. I can put this housing on the bar, put the handle in it without the cables, and I can spin this handle around, and it's real free. But once I put it under a load with the cables running all the way to the carburetor, it sticks. I can rotate it, and you're supposed to let off. It's supposed to flap right back. It's not doing that, so that's a problem. Gotta have that right. So I'm gonna try a couple things. I thought maybe it needs some oil or grease or something, but it is definitely dragging on something inside there, and that is a problem. So yeah, I still need to work on that, and I'm starting to set up my sewing machine back here. I brought the one from the house that I know will work on vinyl real well. The other one that I rebuilt, the pink and black one, the cool 57 Chevy looking Bel Air one, I don't think it's gonna work. I'm not gonna play no games with it. I'm just going ahead and bring out the old reliable here, and I'm gonna set up and start doing some of that seat stuff. I already got them cut apart as you've seen. Now it's time to make the patterns and cut them out and see if I can't sew one of them together. So I'm gonna take a time out on this and get the pattern out, and let's see if we can sew something. Okay, so here we have it. This is kind of what I imagined in my head this little flappy thing would look like. So now what needs to happen is I need to turn this right side out. In a spot there, you might have saw me stop, back up, and re-sew something, and that was right along there. And what happened was I noticed the stitching went crooked, and you can straighten that out. I did the same thing here, right up here. I started in the center and worked my way around, and when I went to do this way and go around this direction, I noticed that that was off. The reason I started right here is this is the only mark I had that centered this piece, so that this piece is in the same spot as the other. They're not turned. Yeah, so I only have one real worry, is I stitched over in the corner here, and I stitched over a little bit in the corner here. This is as wide as this gets, and if this metal plate don't fit through there, I'm gonna have to cut a little. That's not what I want to do, but I have to invert this whole thing through this hole. Yeah, let me get this done, and then I'll show you when it's up. All right, almost. It's at 90% inside out, but what I'm doing is massaging this spot where I stitched. I'm really trying to finish the invert, get my hand all the way in here, and I'm just really pushing that out. I want a nice clean edge, even down in this bottom corner here. You just got to figure it out. Use your finger, your pinky, your whatever, and you don't want to press too hard. You just stitch this thing, and last thing you want to do is tear it up. Now, I do have this seam here, which I know it's not going to bother me, but it bugged me that I wasn't smart enough to put that seam in the center somewhere. Yeah, okay. The rest of that's going to come out whenever, and that looks like a boxing thing where they, yeah, that's cool. Anyways, okay, so this thing has got to go in that, and there's no compressing this backing plate. I don't know about this, guys. I don't think y'all want to watch this. This might get ugly, so just hang on. Okay, now you can look. I got it inside there. Man, that was rough. I could have made that a lot tighter. The entrance was way too tight, but the actual pattern, how big this is a little too loose. We're not lost. I can either leave it like this and tuck this in here like so, like I was thinking. So that's not bad, right? That could ride all day long. Or I could take it back out and I could take some more up. So basically, I would look at this thing in two ways. I'm gonna see how much room the back has. I've got a lot of pillow. There's just too loose, right? So yeah, I'm going to take it back apart, and where I've sewn around here, I'm just going to sew again, just about that much further in towards the pattern from the first thread stitching that I have put in, and that will tighten all this up. So I've already kind of bunkered this up. I'm gonna tuck that a little bit too, because yeah, I've got a little extra there. I'm gonna roll that back over and clean that up, and let me get on the sewing machine and do that. No, you're not gonna get to watch me wrestle this thing back out. Go away. All right then. So I got that sewn, and you can see the first stitch that I did, and then I came in a little further and did a second stitch. This take up more material, and it also gives me a little larger tab up here. That's going to probably fall into this little groove in the foam. That's where that was. So I hope this takes up enough. Let's see. I think it will. It'll be all right. I barely stitched up some of this. This is all going to be hidden behind the frame, that chrome frame and stuff, so I'm not too worried about it. I did went ahead and snip off all the extra long string that's hanging off of all that stuff. So yeah, let me re-invert this and get it on the pad. Yeah, I'm just tucking the last bit in here, and I am already feeling better about this. Yeah, I've got a couple of pieces here I need to tuck in a little, but yeah, it looks a lot better, a lot more solid, like it's not all loosey-goosey on there. I just got to poke some holes and attach it to the bar. Maybe we should try that. I finally got those screws in there. It's hard to line up all three things. You have the backing plate, then you have the vinyl over that, then you have this chrome plate, and then you have the bar itself. All them holes have to line up all at once. These little screws actually came in handy for that. I still need to take this back apart. I need to clean up all this chrome, but I needed to test fit. That's what that is. I still need to touch up a couple little spots here on each end that didn't take the thread very well. It's kind of split back apart. So I'm trying to retuck that stuff. Otherwise, it looks pretty good. Not too bad. I want to keep it plain and simple. I don't want it to be something that everybody's looking for. The paint job is really what bikes are about. The paint, the chrome. So with that said, that part's down. I still have to do the driver's seat and the passenger seat, and those are a lot bigger tasks to do. Hopefully this video wasn't too boring for y'all. I know that's just a little seat, but it kind of gives you a taste of what is put into doing upholstery work. It's a lot, and it costs if you go to hire it out to someone. This video is going to be cut off right here. I played around too much this weekend again. You know, I talk about dragging my feet. Sometimes it's me just out there having a good time. So there's this video, and during this weekend, I did the Make-A-Wish video. Y'all should be seeing that up soon. Anyways, I've got to wrap this up. I've got to get home. I've got to get myself ready because I do work during the week. So I'm cutting it off. Y'all have a good weekend.